Hello, my name is Kriostix, and welcome back to Elden Ring, where time is miserable, but we try to make the most of the misery, which is not plenty. Alright, I think I have an idea of what sort of a boss I want to do. In between the recordings, I have leveled up a bunch. Not really much of a difference in how easy things are, though, so, eh. And I also tried to get to the, like, in every Souls game, there's an item that gives more souls, as in more runes in this case, and for some unfathomable reason, FromSoft decided to put that item behind an invincible boss fight. Like, it's literally, like, it is not possible to pull off. I tried maybe 12 times with a character with these stats, like this much health and stamina and all that, and it's just, like, it's not even a contest. After I think about 12 tries, I had zero actually decent fights in between any of that. It's just not beatable. So what's apparently happened, and thank you for the socials, Igitnet. So what's apparently happened is that FromSoft decided to screw the players over by making it so that the more runes item can only be obtained by an endgame player who's basically finished the game anyway. Like there is no way to beat that boss. It's like a gank boss of two clean rot knights, which when one of them attacks you, the other one shoots these sideways sickles that go around your shields, and they're anyway magic, so you can't really block them anyway. And if you try to dodge them, the other one hits you, and if you try to block them, they go around the shield, and when they hit you, you get stun locked and you die. And that's that. Like, there's nothing to be done. And they have humongous health bars, and they hit like a truck, meaning that even with this health bar, they kill you in like 2.5 hits, maybe. It's terrible. Like, it's literally unbeatable. There's no way to do it. Like, I've seen, I think one website claimed it's pretty easy, like 3.5 out of 10. I forget what it was, but they're obviously lying. Like, there is no way to finish that boss. It's literally impossible. There is no beating it. So FromSoft just put the, I think it's called like a golden scarab or something. They put it behind an unbeatable boss to give a big middle finger to the players who want to just struggle through the game by trying to level up even a little bit. They wanted to make leveling up as inconvenient as possible because they hate people who play their game. So, yeah, that's nice. Need to catch up. I mean, yeah, basically, if you watch the previous stuff, you'll see anger, a lot of hate, and just misery and misery and misery. So that's the long and short of it, and I really can't recommend this one. Like, you need the patience of a saint to play this game. And I also suspect that the outlets who have reviewed this game, not only do they have a FromSoft bonus to their scores, but I think they're scared of the community response if they don't give it like a 99 out of 100. The Metacritic score of 97 is madness. This game is, like, not bad, but it's good, not great. Like, the lock-on system is horrible, and the open world creation is just, like, it has a lot of copy-pasting in its open world, which makes me miss the deliberate like world creation of the previous Dark Souls games. So it's just beyond that, it's more Dark Souls with a horse and a jump button. So it's like okay. And hello, Alexi, welcome. Well, yeah, it does repeat oneself, and it literally copy-pastes assets, like, quite a lot, which is a bit of a problem. I kind of, like, I find it a little bit questionable. Hi. If you insist. I mean, I tried to leave it alone, but it wouldn't, make the world too big. And yeah. Like, it's, like, I especially noticed it when there's these, like, grids of 3 by, like, 3 by 6 grids of sarcophagi. Like, these, like, in the middle of the grasslands. And, they are just copy-pasted assets. Just thrown around in the map. And it's just like, oh, okay. It's not very, impressive. Hi. Here we are. Alright, if you insist. Okay, so there should... I think I met a thing here before, and I'm kind of trying to find it again. Hello? Okay. Oh, there's one of these here again. You have a Breton in Skyrim. That seems like a decent choice. Why not? Yeah, in my leveling up endeavors. Whoa, that's an interesting place for a Estus bug. I met a boss somewhere around here, but apparently can't seem to find it again. Bye. Right. Man, I was hoping I would find the whatever was harassing me once when I went through here. Oh, hello. Hi. Okay. A lovely thing that I get all of these friends at once, though. That's nice. Cool. Right, this would be an interesting fight, but it ganks with all of these giants, so meh. Come on. Then you. Come on. Cool, thanks for joining. See? Right. Man, I hate how useless the Estus flasks are. I also hate how useless the blocking is. I blocked every single one of those, but see, the system this chooses to do difficulty is by just like, okay, you block, cool, it doesn't work. So yeah, that's nice. Oh, that worked! The first hit of, I think, 10 where blocking actually worked. That's nice. Alright. I mean, I'll die anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but... Again, I blocked to that. That's cool. Alright. Oh boy, come on. Cool. I hated that boss fight, but we got through it, so sure. Blue feathered branch sword. Lovely. Some vigor and endurance points. I mean, I have about as much as I can grind. Like, my level is what? 79. And I have 40 vigor and 41 endurance. Like, I think the very literal soft cap is 50, so I'm about as high as I can grind in this area, because grinding has been made intolerably slow in this one, because it's that's how a good game is made. But hi, Jackster, welcome. Level 75 Confessor, cool. I basically spent all of my time grinding, and I'm like, maybe, I don't know, 40-something hours, maybe? We'll see. 42, yeah. But I hope you've been doing good. And I'm glad you've enjoyed this game. I have not. Alright. I feel like all the difficult bosses are just like made to circumvent the mechanics you have to defend yourself, which I find just bullshit. Shame we can't... Yeah, yeah. Okay, what's next? I mean, there was a thing somewhere around here, maybe. Maybe. But yeah, like, it's... I really just... I have all kinds of issues. Did he sell anything interesting?
Ah, back again, are we? Not everyone can tell how good my wares are.
Good for you, Jackster.
Eye you have.
Lantern. Ah, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, he sells arrows, but I make most of my own, it seems. Astrologer stuff, kite shield. I don't remember if it's better than the one I got. I feel like the previous Dark Souls had like a compare button, but I'm not sure anymore. Okay, so 47, 47, 33, 47. Yeah, mine is better. Okay. How are you holding up? I don't know. I've not. How can I put this? I've been suffering from some nausea symptoms the last few weeks, but beyond that, you know, there's only so much one can complain about, right? Okay. Where was the guy again? I'm trying to remember where the... Oh yeah, no. This is the... Right. Hold on. Oh, now I need to reset the thing again. Ah, fine. Come here, you. Cool. Do. Got all trophies in Yakuza 6. Good. Congrats. I'm happy for you. I still haven't started any of them. I probably should one of these days. Man, I hope I could... Maybe here? Like that one boss fight who was voiced by Simon Templeman. That's like the next big one I could try. I haven't tried it since the one attempt that went all to hell. Oh, Devil May Cry is very good. I liked it. Even though I'm not very good at it, but I think it was pretty good. Alright. Hello. Uh-huh. Nice and easy. Uh-huh. Come on now. Well, at least the block worked, so that's something, right? Man, that Estus does not much.
Well, thou art of passing skill.
Thanks.
Warrior blood must truly run in thy veins.
Nah, just very stubborn blood. I've been grinding levels in one spot for 39 hours, I think. Uh-huh. Come on, you. Ow. No hurry. Just get it out of your system, nice and easy. Come on, come on. Show me what you got. Man, That sequence just does not let up, huh? Ah, close, but it's never enough. Oh boy. Alright, one more go and then I'll go do something else. I also deeply, deeply despise the fact that there's no homework bones in this game. I think that's just a big middle finger to anyone who wants to play this. Alright, come on. Alright.
Well, thou art of passing skill. Warrior.
No, I'm not, and you know it. Come on.
Thy veins tarnished.
Gotta love that the Estus drinking also takes like 7,000 frames. Like, come on, just get it done. Come on. Alright. Cool.
Smouldering with thy meager flame. Cower in fear of the night. The hands of the fell omen shall brook thee no quarter.
Well, I wouldn't expect a quarter from a FromSoft game. Provided you're out of combat. Yeah, that's a big provided, yes. That is exactly the problem. Like, the homeward bones in the previous, like, games allowed the notion that if a boss is truly out of your league, you would have the option to leave with your souls. In this one, you don't. And I find it pretty annoying. Like, it's just a anti-quality of life option to make you lose your stuff. Even worse. Iron Imp, hi, welcome. I need to roll some, hold on, Oh, I'm always pissed about this game. There is not a single second that I'm not deeply, deeply, deeply just simmering with unfathomable anger toward this game. It's so, I'm always, like, just like the Incredible Hulk, I'm always angry. It's been an incredibly few weeks, blah, blah, blah. One hand, Elden Ring came out, the other hand... Yeah, yep, that's true. As far as family and friends there, the ones in the west made it out. Okay. Updated us in Canada, then in the east. Okay. I see, I see. I'm sorry to hear that, Iron Imp. I can only hope that everything turns out as well as possible, right? Like, it's... all of that stuff is on our mind. For sure. Oh yeah, I'm under the impression too that the bosses only get worse, absolutely. Nice castle though. It looks almost pixelated, that's pretty weird. Like, look at the right tower next to the entrance. It looks like it's made of pixels, it's pretty weird. I'm pretty sure it's probably just like a visual illusion, but still. But yeah, like, Homeward Bones in the previous games allowed for the notion that if, like, let's say if you just clearly realize that something like Ornstein and Smo is just too much, like, there's no way, then you could, go back there, collect your souls, and then teleport away, and then you wouldn't lose them. In this game, apparently what you have to do is no matter what amount of souls you always either lose all of your souls in the boss fight, or you manage to, just climb over the boss itself. And sometimes it's just not an option. I've lost a bunch of souls already to that. I mean runes, but still. I feel like it's a completely needless anti-quality of life change. I feel it's just a middle finger to the players for no good reason. Like, it's honestly a strange thing to remove a decent mechanic from the Dark Souls games into this one. Just because we need to be artificially difficult for no reason. Like, okay. Wait a second? Okay. Yeah, this happened before in Dark Souls 3, I think, where, like, two bonfires next to each other. Interesting. Alright, what are we looking at here? Right. Huh. Nope. No horse. Oh. Let's see if we get anything for this little excursion. No. Okay. Okay, interesting. Any tips on an easy low spoiler? If you... actually yes, but if you mean the Bestial Sanctum / Forum Great Bridge, I know that one. And I also know the Third Church of Marika. If it's something else, absolutely tell me, yes. South of the Forum Great Bridge. Let's see. I would probably need to Google the map and see where that exactly is, but I'll try to keep that in mind, thank you. Clank, hi, welcome, glad to have you. I hope your week has been excellent and your time has been more productive than mine in Elden Ring. Hi. It looks like a spell boy.
You're tarnished, aren't you?
So they tell me.
I would advise against taking the main gate into the castle. It's tightly guarded by hardened old hands. Oh, try the opening right here. The guards don't know about it. You'll breach the castle undetected.
That's probably... Like, never trust anyone, but is it just like a...
Yes, that's the spirit. You're just the kind of tarnished that I like.
That sounds like Patches.
I pray for your success.
Should I hit your head off?
Use the guards, you'll slip.
Oh. It just keeps on repeating the same thing. Great Bridge. Yeah, I'll maybe need to Google it later. Like the smaller eastern bridge, where you were going to backstab vulgar militia to take the smaller eastern bridge back to a side of grace. Then from that side of grace, go downhill. It's a boulder that spawns behind you, but can double jump torrent around it, and when it falls off. Ah, I see. I'll see what's up. I mean, I kind of turned back because dragon is bad, so... And I ended up farming more of the big giant boy because the bad infantry were bad. Okay, smaller eastern bridge. wow. Yeah, that's gonna be a bad time. Do you mean that tower? I don't know. Alrighty. Yeah, the chat lag is enough that this is gonna take all day. I'll need to Google it later. Alright. So, let's see. Alright, can I find anything in here? Pearl Calling Finger Remedy. Also, okay, now I can use 2 of these. That's nice. Right, so I can't... Oh, hello. Seems risky, but... yeah. Yeah, okay. Spawn, go trigger a boulder to Indiana Jones at you, then jump out of the way as it curves towards the edge, rinse and repeat. Okay. I see. Yeah, it might be faster than the one I got. I could, like, the system I did, I could get like 1,000 souls in just under 50 seconds if things went okay. So... can someone explain to me what these are? Like, it's kind of annoying that there's so many paused tutorials and yet basically nothing is still explained. It's kind of a weird combination of tutorials and yet nothing is, like, told. It's pretty weird. Like, I know that there are, like, statues of Marika that let you, spawn near them when you die, but I don't know if those are that. And they're maybe not. Do it more effectively still, since it will one-shot you. There's an opaline tier you can put on the physics so you can tank the hit without dying. Okay. Man, I really want to find a second smithing stone so I can make this sword into a +4. I feel like I'm kind of underpowered. Alright. Oh, well there we are. I simply wished my wish out loud and then it immediately happened. Summoning pools are multiplayer things. Summoning hub broadcast rather than trying to just leave. Okay. I have no intention of doing multiplayer, so that's fine then. Cool. Thanks. I see. You never know how much, like, gravity does damage before you try. Hello. Man. Nothing gives souls, like, it's, well, runes. There's another. Alright. Man, big approach to a big castle. I'll just check if there... Well, there's some items there. I should probably go check them. I hope I can get back. Never expect the game to throw you a bone, so we'll see. Come on. Cool. Oh, smithing stone 3. I have a sense I'll be needing those in a while. Lingrave is full of cool places, but its enemies don't pay much for the relative difficulty at the time. Yeah, that's a big issue I have with this game, because I feel like Souls games have always... Like, one of the bigger problems they have, with maybe the exception of Dark Souls 2, is that the early game is not very, I'm looking for the exactly good word, because good or bad isn't very isn't very descriptive. They don't... Well, they have a combination of two things that are problematic. One is that in I think Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1, the first boss is either that you're supposed to lose, or you're supposed to do something else than just fight them. I think that's always a bad start for a game. If you have a lose boss or a gimmick boss, which is, I think, I never played Demon Souls, but I hear that's how it goes, and Dark Souls 1 as well. And I know, at least Dark Souls 1, and I'm sure the other one too, it's quote-unquote possible to win, but it's not the intended way. Like, it's like, I once had this really weird conversation with someone on the Longship. I don't remember to see what their name was. That they just maintained to pretend to not understand when I told them about the problem in Dark Souls 1, that the first boss is not supposed to be defeated. Like, when a player begins their first playthrough, it is not intended for the player to win against the demon boy before you go to the, like, great door and then go find your Estus and whatever. And they just pretended to not understand, like, what do you mean? Like, it's just, like, you can do it. I'm like, oh, fuck off. Like, what the, it doesn't make you come across as cool. Like, just obnoxious. Anyway. I mean, sure, but it's not about that. It's not about not fighting things, right? And the second problem, which is especially true in Dark Souls 3, is that the early game doesn't reward the player with souls or runes in this case. Which then, like, it makes the early game feel really sparse and also not rewarding in any meaningful way to a player who tackles enemies that are within the early game, but slightly more difficult in relation to each other, like peasant zombie, random garbage zombie, soldier zombie, these things. Dark Souls 3 has that problem quite strongly in the very early game, like in the first, let's say 3 hours, 4 hours, 5, that sort of thing. And this one, like has both of those problems. The first boss you're supposed to lose, which is just, ugh. I mean, sure, I'm sure it's quote-unquote possible, but you know what I mean, right? And then the early game, the entire early area gives absolute garbage for runes, as in souls, and you don't get meaningful rewards for fighting the harder enemies in the early area. And I mean, like, the soldiers with a big shield and spear in relation to random zombie with a peasant hat. They give essentially the same amount. I think the difference is like 10 or 12 runes, like, ugh. And this game does both of those problems, which tells me that that From Software hasn't learned from the follies of their early game mistakes. And that's kind of what worries me, because then that's a... Hi. That suggests that this game is not as such an improvement on the mechanics of the earlier Souls games, but may make the similar mistakes as the previous Souls games, and that kind of worries me. And it has so far annoyed me greatly. And equally, I kind of got annoyed by the fact that the early Estus flask, meaning the Flask of Crimson Tears +0, heals very poorly. Like, it felt like it's artificial difficulty for no really good reason. Like, so let's say that the Margit boss there, the difficulty of the Margit boss was basically its moveset, which is interesting difficulty. I might have been annoyed, but it's still interesting difficulty. Its moveset is difficult, that's fair enough, interesting difficulty, right? Whereas artificial and lazy difficulty is lots of damage for the enemy attacks, low damage for your attacks, and low healing for your Estus. And I think the Estus flask in this one is very low healing. I just feel that the percentage of the even starting health bar is much smaller than the previous Souls games, which I feel is more lazy and artificial difficulty. Like, it almost feels like that the FromSoft is kind of like designing their own games, not because that the difficulty needs to be interesting, but because we must have difficulty because we are a FromSoft game. And if it's artificial difficulty by means of low healing Estus, then that's not exactly great, and I don't like it, and I feel like it's artificial and misguided. So, like, I've talked about this before, and I sometimes have difficulty, like, being fully understood, but I hope that makes some sense. Feel their reasoning might be an attentive pacing, but it's fair if you don't like it. It can make the start feel even more daunting than it is. That's true. A few golden seeds with the upgrades, yes, it absolutely improves the Estus then, but it still feels that the beginning bit is oddly powerless in a way that the previous Souls games were not, and I feel it's not exactly it's just it doesn't feel right, and it just stinks of difficulty design for the sake of its own numbers difficulty. To me. Hook claws. I worry that those barrels might be explosive, so... Once you got a few more... Yeah. And actually the beginning dauntless, I also feel that one of the weaknesses of Dark Souls games' difficulty is that I am not convinced that the Dark Souls games, and this one's either, difficulty curve is sensible. And what I'm trying to say is, I think it alienates its own audience by an extremely steep difficulty wall at the very beginning. And it doesn't actually get too much higher after that. Like, yeah, there's difficult bosses, yeah, but what I'm saying is that the difficulty curve starts out with a massive wall very soon after at the beginning, and then stays mostly kind of level after that, which I feel alienates more players than it would need to. Like, the game wouldn't overall be easier if it starts out with a more sensible uprising difficulty curve, as long as the high end of the difficulty remains maybe even more difficult than it is currently. And I feel it just... there's something that doesn't sit right with me there. It's more of a consideration to wordlessly instructing players to explore the world, or an attempt to balance something less linear. I have this, like, the sinking feeling I have is that it is a design decision to have difficulty for its own sake and for the sake of the game's reputation, because we are a FromSoft game, instead of necessarily trying to make a better game. That's what worries me, and that's what it feels like to me. I don't know if it's true, but it feels like that. Well, they are explosive. Right. Problem in the original Dark Souls was that it starts really hard and its level. Exactly my point, yes. But then by the end of it, I feel too overpowered for the bosses. It is actually kind of my problem as well. Like, the Taurus demon, basically, it's the big difficulty wall, maybe followed by the fire bridge with the dragon. And then it never really goes too much higher after that. Like, yeah, Blighttown is annoying, but once you just take your time going down it and just take your steps carefully, it's not as hard as its reputation, I feel, suggests. And also, I feel that, I'm also really annoyed by the notion that considering the number of clear problems this game has, the lock-on system is garbage, and that the open world areas are quite copy-pasty in the end, which I feel removes a lot of the soul of the Dark Souls games, if you will. The Metacritic of 97 out of 100 is madness. Like, it's by no means a bad game. It's a great game, but it's pretty unfathomable that a game gets this much just bonus into its review scores because it's made by FromSoft, and possibly because the, like, online just gamers in general would not accept a low review score. I feel like it's unhealthy. Like, I feel that media outlets don't have the balls to criticize the difficulty design of these games. Not the difficulty, but the difficulty design of these games. Because they're afraid of being called out on Twitter or something. Because it doesn't make any sense otherwise that these games get that just massive scores across the board when one plays these and they're by no means flawless and they have actual annoying problems. Like, go and try Into the Lake area around was it around here or around here? I'm not sure. But there's these lakes that have these giant crabs, right? And go around there and try to lock onto them. Because they have like 10, 20 tiny crabs around them. And the lock-on system considers every, like, enemy equal in their lock-on ability. Meaning that you constantly lock onto whatever is the closest tiny crab instead of the actual threat, which is a giant crab. And then the tiny crabs are basically harmless, but the lock-on system can't differentiate between what is the meaningful threat. Which means that there's either the lock-on system needs improving or the enemy placement needs improving. Or both. And these issues are considerable enough that they cause problems in the core gameplay of Elden Ring, which is the combat. And it's just madness that gets basically perfect scores across the board. Like, something's not right here. And it's just, I feel it's the notion of the bonus things and like the FromSoft bonus in the reviews. Come on. $400 souls. Fuck. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. That is just sure. That is BS by such a long margin. Everything's fine. I suspect that maybe nobody actually understands what the Souls games are so popular, FromSoft included. I don't know exactly either. It's possible. I don't know. I don't care too much about review numbers. To me, this is an exceptional and special game, but sure, in a percentile sense, it's a bit silly to say something is 3% away from What I'm trying to say is that, like, yes, I am not saying that, percentage-wise, a different number is in a vacuum better than the other one, but we do live in a world where these percentage numbers are the overall average of the reviews we get for games, meaning that the average consensus exists as a number, meaningful or no, about basically every big game there is, right? And with that notion that we can at least compare the average to every other game that has, what, more than a few reviews. In that ecosystem of numbers, it is just absolutely not sensible that this game has such a high average of numbers, especially with that many reviews that are, like, out, which, I don't know, dozens? Like, I have no idea, like 50, 60, 70? Something is not right when all of them with issues this noticeable just give numbers that are so high. Like, something's up. And it worries me because it then feels that it's not healthy. Because people do make these purchases based on these numbers, and it would be a lot more healthy if they were, for lack of a better word, more honest. And I have this sinking feeling that they are not even close to honest. And there's some really unhealthy reasons why they are not, especially with FromSoft games. I think this is a structural problem with Metacritic. Oh, sure, but it's also a specific problem with FromSoft games, I think, as well. It's really hard, like, maybe Rockstar games are another one. That's another one with a similar issue, but I think FromSoft is even more pronounced right now. Cool. Don't disagree, that's why I don't care too much for review numbers. I'd probably only feel invested if it was selling the game. Well, I mean, sure. But what I'm saying is that most of the people who make decisions of games still probably follow at least a couple of review sites or their YouTube channels or whatever. And in cases of FromSoft games, and possibly Rockstar games as well, even those sites tend to fall under the spell of FromSoft bonus or Rockstar bonus. And then the people making the purchase decisions of the game, I feel, don't get an honest, less biased opinion, if you will. I'm trying to look for, like, really just better words than that, but I'm kind of struggling to find the fancy words to really explain the point beyond that. Alright, what does the talisman do? Enhances guard counters. Sure. I think this is better. People's expectations for games and studios heavily biased at launch review scores. Overall, yes. But again, I'm making the point that FromSoft games is a special case in this sense. And I feel that something needs to happen before this gets even more unhealthy. Because this game is good, but it's not a basically perfect good. Like, come on now. And the reviews I've seen basically don't mention any of the clear issues I've like brought up. It's impossible to me that they don't notice the problems of the lock-on system, for example. Hype and Money Moon face. Yeah. If you want a review in context of the body of works, I don't think you'll get any sort of good indication of the years after the initial launch. I don't think that FromSoft is an unusual exception to this rule. It works to both buoy scores and tank them. I'm trying to think of good examples beyond FromSoft, and indeed, I've now mentioned Rockstar games a few times that really have games that just have. It's so hard to like think of a good word. Like, who's the umpire of saying that a review score is too high, right? But at least, like, I'm struggling to think of games beyond those two studios that have review scores to their games that feel so oddly inflated. Like, I mean, can you think of studios that get bad scores unfairly? Not from the top of my head, no. I don't think Ubisoft gets unfairly low scores. I'd need to double check what's like the overall like average of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, for example, or something. Because they have, like, I feel Ubisoft has, or is it that Ubisoft is more a case where repeated design assets essentially get treated with more realistic or sensible review reactions than, for example, FromSoft games do. Hi. Eight to 9 of 10. I think that's honestly fair. I think it's an 8.5 to 9 out of 10 Valhalla, if it works, which it didn't work very well at launch. The scores might be fine, but the sentiment is way out of whack. I don't know if I agree with that, I gotta say. Like, because, again, apart from FromSoft and Rockstar, I'm struggling to think of any other studios that make similar games with similar issues all the time and get either inflated or somehow way lower 7s or less outs of 10. I don't think I can get behind that train at least yet. People saying that fairly decent game is utter garbage. We think it might... I mean, people saying as, like, all people or some people, because there's a very big difference between the two. Okay, so is this just like a non-starter as a direction, or what? Aha! Can I have Estes, please? Kind of feel like beyond being some can do wrong cred, people give them FromSoft and Rockstar also don't release annualized titles would probably help pump up expectations. That is true, Iron Name. That is a true point, yes. That's fair, the hate might not bleed into Metacritic scores. I somehow don't see that, yeah. Like, the only kind of more panned Ubisoft game I can think of from the relatively recent past is Assassin's Creed Unity. And that was a game where many, many features of the AC games were removed, and it was so broken at launch that it had to bleed into the review scores a little bit. I mean, yes, OpenCritic is more transparent, but that's the question of my personal ability to be informed versus the notion of the Metacritic site itself informing the public as a whole, which is a different argument. Like, it doesn't change the notion that there is the FromSoft bonus in the scores themselves. I might want to take the longbow at this one, because these just don't end. Alright. Okay, which arrow is which? Man, come on. How did that not hit? Would you just... There you go. I guess I could just use basic arrows, because these are more expensive to create, though. Maybe. Mostly focused on annoyed by self-proclaimed consumer advocate outrage mongers that, in my opinion, are wrong and actively make everything worse. Oh, yeah. You mean people like, well, let's say, I'm so sorry, I don't remember what the current name of this person was, but who used... You know, the sterling but worse kind of people, right? That's probably what you mean, Clanker, right? When only the Metacritic has a user review component, I think a lot of players give Souls games an undue bonus. Oh, I mean, players are even worse. In that regard, yes. There we are. Wonder how much of that 97 was professional reviews. Tend to be clickbait channels focused on really you mean... Wait. When you say 97, I don't think player reviews are a part of the average of the Metacritic number. It's a separate number, is the player reviews, right? Oh boy. What have I gotten myself into? Nice and easy. This better be worth it. No, it wasn't. Also, I wonder how I will be able to get there. Probably not on this run. I'll need to worry about that later. Alright. Sterling, I feel bad for them too, because they tried to do outragey content and tanked. They're finally trapped into making outrage bait. Yeah, less outrage. Yeah. I also very deeply always disliked the Sterling and the like creators, because they made the kind of outrage porn that fed the notion of players being deeply, what's the word? Of players being deeply entitled and basically therefore Twitter outraging against developers with like personal attacks and whatever. That's basically what the outrage porn YouTubers did. And I always disliked it. Even Sterling. Even though I think Sterling was like the less terrible of them, but I always disliked Sterling as well. Because of that. It just stank of the outrage porn that just made all kinds of unhealthy things more common. And it just... Ugh. Ugh. There's way worse... Absolutely, there is way worse than Sterling out there. Absolutely, yes. But they weren't... Yeah, my taste, neither. I always just... They felt all kinds of wrong and icky and... Ugh. This almost feels like a trap, but apparently there's no one here. And firebomb in 3, 2, 1. No? Good. Great. Oh, goody. I have 1 healing flask. Let's do this. Cool. That seems healthy. Right. Well, at least there's backstabbing. Ah, get it out of your system, come on. $400 souls for that is garbage. That is just nonsense, like, come on. Occasionally early Sterling got a chuckle out of me, but it didn't really follow. Still like Yahtzee stuff. He's more of a grumpy humorist than outrage. Yeah, he's like Yahtzee is just a comedic writer with a chip on his shoulder, like when he has stuff to criticize about a game or something. He's a fun guy. He's not the kind of like he's good. I like his stuff. Can't I always disliked but the older I get, the more obnoxious the material becomes. Yeah. Like, Yahtzee's kind of silly satire as well as other series with a genuine, less shticky analysis of the design ideas. Yeah. I always disliked Sterling. I saw, like, a couple of his videos, like, maybe a few years apart, and it just always rubbed me the wrong way. Like, he had, like, not terrible ideas at points, like, you know, terrible microtransactions are bad, like, sure, yes. But he always just kept on going into the, like, feeding the entitled outrage monsters, and it's just like, ugh. And he is not even close to the worst ones, so, yeah. How do I get that? Contraption does not move. That's nice. I'm so worried that there's gonna be something bad because I'm out of healing. Ah! We did it! We are success! Still not even close to a level up though. Still like 17,000 out. Up and down on early Sterling, but it's just a very juvenile. Yeah, juvenile is also a really good word. I always just turned off when he went to his like like voice. I was just like, ugh, what are you, 6? Oh god, go away. Feeding the falsely entitled outrage monsters is a good way to put it. Yeah, that's basically just it just feels so it feels just disgusting to watch. Nowadays, obviously, they've made a point of spotlighting some stuff that does deserve to be called out. Yeah, and even like before, they did sometimes do that, but the percentage of actual legitimate spotlighting stuff was so just not worth the overall effect they had. Does deserve to be called up, but it's at odds with what they mostly built themselves up on. Yeah, absolutely. Alright, I think I had only a short amount of time to do today, so I feel like this is probably a decent spot to start calling it. Like, my schedule was very tight today. I kind of had like an hour to do, and I did 1.5 now, so kind of probably have to start calling it a day. So, but thanks for stopping by. It's been a fun chat with all of you. We made progress. We killed 2 named bosses too, which I dared to dream, but it didn't cross my mind to actually hope. But so if you are watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed, and like and subscribe the smash button or something. Yes, good. And hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.